What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Keep It Down podcast. Emergency podcast alert, boys. Coming out on a Wednesday. There's a little scheduling conflict. We had to bump it up to Wednesday so we can get our bracket done before we can't put her in no more. So, yeah, as always, it's your boys, me, your co-host, along with my two brothers and co-host Schmag. How you doing today?
Good. Ready to get this thing underway, my boy.
And TC, how you living?
Man, I'm doing good. And what's up, everybody? Yeah, we had to call an emergency podcast, man. March Madness kicking off tomorrow morning. We had to get those last minute brackets going. So, yeah, definitely excited for the special edition of the Keep It Down pod.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get anything too juicy, boys, for everyone listening, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Keep It Down Pod. That'll take you to our link tree in our bio there, and that'll take you wherever you choose to listen, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, Zencaster, Google Play, wherever it is. So it'll take you everywhere and anywhere. And keep an eye out. There's some short form content popping up here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So keep an eye out. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow, all that stuff wherever you choose to find us. So helps the boys out. Give us some feedback of where we're doing good things, where we're not doing so good. So yeah, be sure to give us some feedback. So, but boys, I've got one burning question for the two of you. I want to know what the best weird skills are to have. We're talking bowling potentially, horseshoes, maybe even you're a big chef kind of guy. You're a grill master, one could say. What are we thinking? What are we liking? What are we not liking? What's overrated? What's underrated?
Yeah, so we're kind of talking about like stuff that you just kind of whip out of like your bag of tricks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're out there and you're gonna impress someone with this skill, man. So for me, I feel like it's gotta be good at golfing, and for two reasons, right? Because like obviously when you're out there on the golf course, you don't be making a fool out of yourself or anything. So if you're just absolutely bombing drives and hitting putts, like dude, you're just killing it. But also, golf is one of those things where you don't just do it on the golf course, right? Like the big thing right now is Top Golf. So you're out there at Top Golf, dude. If you're just going crazy with it, super impressive,
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I feel like Top Golf would be my place because I can just,
Gotcha.
I'm not good at anything else besides hitting the ball far. And even then it's a little crazy sometimes, but I feel like Top Golf would be my place. I would do very well there. I think
Well,
golf
I'm in
too.
the
I
same.
think,
Yeah, I'm the same boat with you. Like growing up, we would just go to the driving range, and of course, like we're not working on our iron game. You know
oh
what I
no,
mean? We just got the drivers out all day long.
big clubs
So
only.
like when I go to a driving range or to Top Golf or something, obviously like I can hit the ball far. That's not really
Yeah,
the issue. But if you're playing any other game besides just like how long you can drive it, I am
right.
horrible, dude. My accuracy absolutely sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like too, like with golfing, it's like you invite your buddy to go golfing. Like let's say you are that dude at golf, but like none of your friend group really knows it. You're like, hey, let's go play around. You show up, your buddy shows up, hey, how you doing, kind of thing. They, get out of the car, and you get out of the car, and you're dressed to the nines. You're wearing all the Nike stuff with your big old bag of clubs, and like you go out there and just start doing your thing. Like it is impressive because golf's not easy. I mean, I know some of our listeners are into golf. It ain't easy, man. I mean, I'm horrible at it, but
I was gonna say one of like the easiest ways to impress whoever you're golfing with is if you can hit the long ball, man. They're just like it's always the classic. Oh, if you could just straighten that thing out, or if you could just hit the iron. That's all they say, dude. Like we always go golfing up in Lone Pine, which if you're from the area and you frequent
oh
the area
no,
of Lone Pine, it's like $50 golfing for all day. Like you can play as many times as you want. So first of all, go there. Shout out. I don't know the name of the course, but it's the
shout out
only one
Lone
in Lone
Pine.
Pine, so it can't be hard.
You'll find it.
Yeah, no, there's just like it's all kind of dead like half of the year, but I mean it's $50 for all day golf, anyways.
I did.
And yeah, like there's this hole that like just goes straight towards the freeway and then just dog legs like the last little bit, and I was just nuking the ball onto the freeway, dude. And that's the thing, like once you're in there, like you can't just hit it softer than as hard as you can. Like it's just not a thing, especially when you have the driver out, because then it messes up the whole feng
Exactly.
shui of the swing.
Exactly.
You don't
Yeah.
want to go up there whiffing on it or like hitting it off your foot or anything like that. When like you're golfing with like your wife's dad or whoever it is.
Right.
Yeah, so like
So
I think that kind of plays into it a little bit too. Is like I'm not very good at golf, so I'm always envious of people that are, and like that
Right.
impresses me when they're really good at golf. So that's why I chose golf as my answer because like it impressed me. So I would like to have that skill as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
absolutely. I
gonna.
think. Go ahead, Josh. You go
Sorry,
first.
Schmack. I was just gonna say I'm gonna put like bar games, like kind of lump pool and darts together in kind of a
Um,
little category.
yeah, this is
Because
a
those are,
great one.
like, you got the in-laws in town or whatever it may be, you go
Yeah.
out to
Mhm.
dinner and there's a pool table or there's darts or, whatever it is. And like, those are great things to be good at, Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
their pool is in pretty much every bar in America and darts is about the same. So, I mean,
Right.
it's two underrated skills for sure.
Yeah. I mean, who knows when you need to run your father-in-law up for $50? You know what I mean?
Gotta
Exactly.
show him who's
Gotta do what you
boss.
gotta do what you gotta do, baby.
No, Church, I completely agree because like when you suck at some of those games, it's like so easy for them and so hard for you. You know what I mean? So like to be good at it is really nice. Nice to whip out of the bag for sure.
So this isn't my official answer, but I'm gonna give a two-part answer here. The first one is bowling. Do any of you remember? And I don't know if everyone was there. Like we were teenagers or something, and Uncle B shows up with his entire like bowling bag. It's like a rolling bag that he's rolling
Yep.
in. Like we're all renting shoes and finding a ball that's way too light for us. And this dude rolls in with a full like rolling backpack with a ball, shoes, all the rags he could ever want. And I mean, and he just apparently he's super good at bowling, and none of us knew until that exact moment. I was blown away. But
Yeah.
um,
I was gonna say I do remember that vividly, dude. Nothing swaggier than pulling out your own bowling ball and then actually
yeah,
following up and being good too.
you're right. That's the biggest part. You just can't just have the crap. You have to at least know how to use it a little bit.
Yeah, anyone can go rent a custom bowling ball, but only a select few can throw it down the lane and hit the pins, you feel?
So I think my official answer is going to be like playing an instrument, and it
Okay.
doesn't really matter. But I would say like the biggest ones are like guitar, obviously, and like piano. Like I don't know if it's ever happened to you guys before, where like you go over like to someone's house and they have like a piano or a keyboard, and there's like one person that just like jumps on it, and like you had no idea, and it's like a secret like talent that they have, and
Mhm.
they just start just going off on the thing. And I know like Hannah's family was really that way. Like I walked in to that, and they're all very musically inclined, and they're all just super good at guitar, or piano, or really anything. But I would say that's a good one. Like someone picks up a guitar and just starts fiddling around on it. Like I think that's really impressive.
When Schmuck said musically inclined, I instantly just thought about when you get the recorder in fifth grade and
Oh
you
yeah.
have to memorize the songs and then like you play it in front of the whole class and then you get like a little ribbon for your recorder, dude. Did you guys do
Well,
this or is it just me?
no, this is
I don't
just you, I
remember
think.
this.
I played the
Really?
bells.
Okay, so yeah, no, it was like something. It might have been like the whatever the music company in town was Lee's House of Music or whatever.
Lee's, yeah.
They would come and like dish out like 30 of these recorders to your whole class, dude, and then they'd give you like these little play sheets of like learning how to play the recorder, and then you had to like
Okay.
come back to class and play the song, and then you like got a little ribbon that you could put on your recorder for playing the song,
Oh
and it
gosh.
pissed
On
me
what
off
instrument?
on the so it's like a little flute looking thing. It's called a recorder.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
they're like the
gotcha.
little. It
Okay.
looks like a clarinet kind of, but they're plastic and like they have all the holes on
Yeah.
the top. Yeah, and so yeah, it made me so angry, dude. Like I raged for weeks 'cause I could not remember the damn song on the freaking recorder. And then Schmuck's talking about being musically inclined. It just made me think about the recorder instantly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not easy, man. It's always impressive when it happens too.
Chach, that wasn't the classic "My Hat Has Three Corners" performance from you, was it?
Oh,
No, no, that was like every class has to do a little performance like this. This was an individual. This is a solo
Okay.
thing. Like you read for reading time or whatever, and then they're like, all right,
Hmm.
who has any songs to perform? And then you got to stand up in front of the whole class, baby, and face
Yeah,
the
I think
demons. And
like
the weird freaking horse girl who smells like strawberries like goes up there and just shreds out all the songs, dude. And nothing made me rage more than that because like we're just so competitive, and like the horse girl shouldn't be good at anything, you know. And then she just shreds out on the recorder, and it just made me hate myself because I'm like, God, like why? It's just freaking remembering notes to a song, like
She was
ridiculous,
waiting her
dude.
whole life for that moment, dude.
Honestly,
Yeah, she just absolutely stealing your shine. No, I think in school, man, like the most I ever played an instrument was just the bells. You know, like you do like jingle
mm,
bells for like the Christmas
yeah,
deal,
Oh
and you
yeah.
have like the turquoise bell, and it's like you and the three other turquoise people are like ding, and then you like wait for your next bing. You know?
yes, fucking nailed it.
Waiting for green, waiting
Schmug.
for green, waiting for green.
Yeah. But boys, going back to the weird skills conversation really quick, I also want to say, I think all of us can agree on this one, is barbecuing. Just being
Mm,
good on the barbecue, like
yeah.
that is super impressive. Like, and not just your go-to meal, because everyone has one meal that they can like, dish out at some sort of family function that's going to be a hit every time. But when
Uh-huh.
you're like good at a lot of things, that's when it gets really impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nothing better than like showing up to someone's house. And TC, your house is a pretty good example of this, dude. You show up, you go out in your backyard, dude. You got the flat top, you got the charcoal grill, you got like two or three different grills out there. Like it's impressive, and like instantly you just get in that mind space. Like this guy knows what he's doing. This guy's impressive. I can talk to this dude about propane tanks, and he's probably gonna know what I'm talking about. You
You
know what I
definitely
mean?
can.
Dude, I feel like cooking though, like I just like we come from like a very like cooking oriented family, and we have a lot of people that make a lot of good food in our families. Like, is it, I don't know if you guys have ever had this like interaction with people, but you like tell them about something that you made or like that you ate that someone in your family made over the weekend, and they act like it's just this super insane thing that you just told them, but really it's just someone just made food. Like, is it really just not that common to like cook and like have like good food around? Like, I mean, I obviously know we're super, lucky in that category, but I feel like a lot of times, I'm like, oh, it's just doing this or just doing that, and I don't know, people just seem lost when I'm talking to them about it.
I
Yeah,
guess we
definitely. I get
always
the
take
same.
it. We always take it to the next level. You know, like it's like a lot of
Hmm.
people like when it's barbecue food, they just make like a box of mac and cheese. Ours is always like homemade mac and cheese and like homemade barbecue sauce and all like weird stuff like that. You know, that like I don't know,
Yeah,
makes a difference apparently to someone who's never seen it before. But it's just like it's just how it is around like our family.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, especially when you tell someone like when we were deep pitting meat quite a
Oh
bit,
yeah,
and you tell
Mhm.
someone like, "Oh yeah, like we deep pitted pork over the weekend," they'll be like, "How you mean?"
yeah. What
Like,
do you mean?
"Oh, like," and then you gotta explain the whole process. You're like, "Oh well, 10 years ago, me and my brother dug a really deep hole in the backyard, and now we cook in it."
Yeah, listen up, peasant. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you gotta start at the top of the story for that one.
Oh, absolutely, you do. Chach, you help us dig that deep pit?
I drink
Good.
a little tea inside.
I will not take the
No,
slander any longer.
nope, we're good. We can move on past that. That's a different episode.
Okay. Anyways. All right. Best skills to have. Any others? You two boys? What about fishing? Fishing's a good one. You know,
Fishing's a really good
It's a
one.
great one.
I'm
it's like
horrible at
everyone's
it.
going fishing. You want to be the guy who catches the fish, you know? Like everyone's
It's never
fishing, you're
me.
like, oh, here's how you do it. Here's what you got to use. Bang, bang, bang. Also, having a nice lit tackle box, just a huge
Mm,
flex, you know? Like
Hmm.
someone's like, oh, I need a hook. You're like, oh, got one. And then someone else needs some
Exactly.
line. Got one.
hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
you're that guy if you have a lit tackle box.
What I was gonna say is like even if you don't catch a whole bunch of fish, like you just show up and know what you're doing and like know how to tie the different knots and if someone needs line, you can give them line, all that kind of stuff. Like that's huge right there. And then if you can cap it off with catching some fish, you're in, man.
And like Flynn, baby.
Trying to think if there's any of that, like any situations that I've had where I've just been so overly impressed that I didn't think about.
Yeah, like obviously there's stuff like if someone used to be a gymnast or something and they can just whip out a backflip just on
Mm,
flat ground, like that's cool or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But I'm talking like even more soft skills than that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like just stuff that's nice to whip out.
Yeah, I mean, like cornhole or backyard games is also a good one, you know?
Yeah,
So
Some
yeah,
those kind of
washers.
go hand in hand. Yeah, washies, a little cornhole, a little anything like that. Um, yeah.
Yeah, man. I think that's all I got. If I think of any randomly, I'm there.
So generally, we like to keep it light and fluffy on the old Keep It Down podcast, boys. But we're gonna give the listeners a little something to take home with them, if you will. So I want to know some of your boys' life lessons, aka if you could go back and tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
Mm.
Yeah. For me, I would just say enjoy where you're at, and that really goes for like any stage of life. You know what I mean? There's that quote in The Office, and I can't really believe that I'm quoting The Office right now, but
Love it. I love
Andy
it.
Bernard says that
My boy.
he wishes he knew he was in the good times or the good old times before they were the good old times. I
Hmm.
think I'm paraphrasing there, but you get the gist of it.
It's perfect.
Like, just enjoy where you're at right now. Like, for me as a person, I always feel like I'm working towards the next thing, and like it's kind of a blessing and a curse to feel like never really satisfied with where I'm at, and always want to get to the next thing. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
you look back 5 years ago, and you're like, man, like that was kind of a cool time in my life. Um, Getting my first apartment, like I'm in the apartment, and all I can think about is how I want to get into a house, I want a new car, and like all this other different stuff. Like, if I can go back and tell myself one thing, it's just be like enjoy where you're at, and not to sound like the old washed up like high school glory days guys, but like, dude, high school was pretty cool because number one, the scheduling. Like,
Hmm.
dude, I would go to school at 7 and be done. No sixth period. I'd be done at like 12:45 every day. Like, you're never gonna have that schedule ever again. You're always around your family. Like, everyone was still in the house, so like that's an awesome time. Um, just stuff like that. I guess the big thing, like I said, is just enjoy where you're at right now and don't always worry about the next thing.
Yeah, TC, I can definitely relate with you on that one, dude. I still find myself like, even today, like needing to give myself that pep talk, just because I mean it's so easy, and as um, having a family and being a parent and a husband, and TC, even yourself, I mean, you're about to be married here in a couple months, like there's lots of things that you're trying to like look forward to, or you're trying to figure out and plan and all that stuff. But I mean, if you're constantly just like, I mean, it's okay to have a plan, it's okay to look forward to some extent because you need to, but like you're right, I mean, like you're gonna miss everything that's happening right now in your life if you're constantly oh, I need to do this, or I need to get a bigger house, or I'm gonna have to trade in my car soon, and I'm gonna have to, figure out this bill at the end of the year that I don't have to worry about right this second. Like, I feel like it's super, super important for, I mean, for all ages, man. I mean, not just going back to your younger self, but adults need to hear that too, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's really just like about being where your feet are, like trying to be
Mm-hmm.
present in these situations around you. And like, in today's world, it's so hectic and busy and everything is now, 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 like instant gratification. You pick up your phone, you open TikTok, you watch a video, you watch the next one, and then it gives you that rush of, everything, all those emotions and feelings. Like it just makes you want more and more. But a lot of times I think you just need to slow down and like actually be where your feet are, like mentally, physically, spiritually, everything. But yeah, the lesson I would give my younger self was like I just caught myself being efficient, not effective a lot. Like TC was saying, moving too fast and just worrying about what's going to come next, and not like understanding like the journey, because like that's what's so cool about a lot of these things is like the journey to get from where you were to where you are now. And like when you just worry about what's going to come next like so hard that like you can't even step back and like enjoy the journey that has been, that like. So I don't know, it's just a whole thing, man. I don't know if it's part of just today's world or what the deal is, but I mean I think everyone could for sure use a little more of you know look around and smelling the flowers kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say. Chach is like, life really is more so about the journey rather than the destination, and like to me, that really means like whatever your big goal is, whether it's career wise or your housing situation or whatever it is, like it almost seems like you're just working, working, working to try to make yourself like feel some type of way once you get to that stage. Like it's gonna make you
Mm-hmm.
feel differently than you do in the moment of the
Yeah.
grind or of the journey portion of it. But it's like it's still the same you. Like there's still gonna be something going on that's, maybe not exactly what you wanted. So like you just got to enjoy the journey portion of it rather than just always trying to get to the destination portion.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Grandpa's funeral, actually, they read a poem, and it's always stuck with me for some reason. But it was talking about living your dash. Like everyone is born in a year and they pass away in a year, and like everyone, no one talks about like living your dash and actually being present for your dash.
Mm,
Like some people do, and some people like are just chasing money or girls or whatever it is, and like their life is nothing. It equates to nothing. Like because they're not spiritually in tune. They're not like understanding what's going on around them or how they're affecting people around them. Like there's so many micro relationships that you go through as a human that like no one even notices. Like whether it's an interaction you had with someone at a gas station or stuff like that all affects other people, and like people
right.
don't even care because they're so focused on themselves. Like it's honestly crazy.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And Josh, now that you bring it up, dude, I totally remember them talking about that. Yeah, it's important, man. It's important to focus on what you're doing and the impact that you have on other people, for sure. I mean, there's so many times. I mean, you're so caught up with what's going on with you, you don't know how you're affecting somebody else or how somebody else is looking at you or the future impact that like you never know like how things are going to turn out. It's kind of like that reverse like butterfly effect thing. It's like when you see it in movies and people time travel and one thing happens and it completely changes the outcourt, like the course, the outcome of everything else that happens after that. And it's kind of similar to that in a way. um I think for me personally, man, like I like what I would tell my younger self is like, kind of oddly enough, going against kind of what you said, like my younger self, I just feel like it's so important to kind of focus on you. Like I was really, really concerned with about like needing someone like back in the day and like not really like working on myself a whole lot. Like I always felt like I needed someone in my life to like help me do that, or like I needed like a bunch of people around me. Like I had like a really great relationship with my family and I still have like super great friends, but I was more concerned with like quantity over quality kind of thing. And like a lot of stuff was like kind of left for me to like figure out like later on down the road instead of like learning like you know who I am and like the kind of impact like I want to have on people. Um, yeah, I mean, I think working on yourself is super important so that you at least have yourself figured out. You can only control so much, but you can at least control yourself. So having yourself figured out and kind of who you are and who you want to be, and then going out into the big bad world after that, I feel like would have been super helpful in my past for sure. Um, I mean, I just wasn't focused on the right things either because I mean, I didn't really know what I wanted or who I was or who I was trying to appease or anything like that. So,
Yeah, like that's a huge one, Schmuck, because you're really only in control of yourself, right? There's that saying that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how do you react to it. So,
mhm.
like, I think that's great, and that was huge for me too because, like, so many times you wish things went different, and like, dude, why is this guy acting so stupidly? Like, you wish someone would have done something different and affected you in some way, but
Yeah,
really you have no control over any of that. All you can do is react to
right.
it in a way that you react to it in your own way and in a way that is upstanding to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and absolutely, and I think like, and especially like how other people act like towards you too. You know what I mean? And like you're, especially like I mean, being in high school and like for me personally, like I was always just so consumed with like trying to like be liked by a lot of people and like try to like get along with everybody, and like I was just wasting time in a bunch of like relationships that like I didn't need to be spending time on, and I should have been spending that time like on myself. And I'm not just talking about like relationship with girls. I'm talking about like just like my relationships with people around me. You know what I mean? Um, I just feel like I wasted a lot of time like kind of doing that, and I should have just focused way more on like me and cut out some of that other stuff, and kind of some of that stuff that was really um, kind of bringing me down a little bit. I just wish I could have, had the foresight to block all that out and just, think to myself, listen, like, is that going to matter? Is that relationship going to matter in 5, 10, 15 years? Like, but I mean, you can't know everything, but
Yeah, I think
if
that's a
I could
really
go
good
back and
point.
tell my
It's like
younger self.
yeah, it's like, like, why would these things happen to me? Or, you're looking for that instant gratification. If I could just have this, I'll be that guy. If I could get that girlfriend, I'd just be that guy, kind of thing.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, like, all these things happen, and you're so consumed with what other people are thinking or saying, or like what you want to like get out of them, kind of thing. That, like, you don't even realize that, like, you're not affecting like the people closest to you. Like, you're not affecting their lives in a positive way, and like you're,
Right.
like Frank said, just bringing you down further. Like, because you're setting like these unreal goals for yourself, almost like, rather than achievable goals that would actually make yourself stronger mentally, physically, spiritually, and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I think it all goes hand in hand, man. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Boys, before we hop into the bracket, I got one more thing I wanted to touch on. This whole Morant situation. You guys been following
Mm.
this at all?
Speaking
I
about the
think it
people
just
around you.
yeah, it kind of all ties in there.
Yeah.
But uh, I think it just came out today that he's got an 8 game suspension.
With no pay. Yeah.
Um, For those of you listening at home, don't know, a video surfaced online of Morant in a gentleman's club with a firearm. Um, NBA gave him an 8 game suspension. This isn't his first offense, however. Um, he had a run in with like a 17-year-old kid at a park, um,
Hmm.
flashed a gun at him and threw punches, and then had some sort of altercation with the security guard at the mall. Like, what are you guys' thoughts overall on what's going on with this guy? I've seen a lot of different opinions online.
I mean, personally, like, I think you see this a lot with kids who went to smaller schools, like he did. Because he went to, what was it? I can't even remember the name off the top of my head. I hit this college he went to, but some of this stuff can fly in little southern towns and stuff like that. Like beating a kid up, or stuff like that. But when you're in the city of Memphis, or I don't even know where he flashed the gun in the club, but and he's going to get in a ton of
Yeah,
trouble for that
Denver.
because, yeah, he's in Denver. So, and he's going to get in a ton of trouble for that because he brought a gun on a team plane, which is a huge issue for the Grizzlies, the NBA, everyone involved, all that stuff. And then the video there, the pictures come out of him in the gentleman's club, and the Twitter replies are either like 50% are like, "Oh, why would you release these pictures?" But I mean, I'm kind of on the side of, like, if you're going to flash guns in people's establishments, then, like, I don't know what you expect, kind of thing. But yeah, what an
Yeah.
idiot, absolute idiot.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, go ahead. Go ahead, TC. You're good. You're good.
it kind of reminds me of the Gilbert Arenas situation. You guys remember he
Mm.
brought the gun into the team locker room. However, Josh, he came out and said on an interview today with Jalen Rose that allegedly the gun wasn't his. So I'm not sure if he's going to get popped for bringing it on the gun. I don't know
Mm,
where the gun allegedly came from, but that's
just
his
borrowed.
story, and I think he's probably going to stick to it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
yeah, like, sorry, Schmack, I keep cutting you off, but no,
No,
I was
you're
gonna say the
fine.
huge issue comes with bringing the gun on the team plane. That's the real
Hmm.
thing that the NBA would be real heated about. So
Yeah, I think that's more of a 50 or 100 game suspension rather than just
yeah,
the 8 if you're bringing that on the team plane.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is someone who, um, comes from a good background, went to a good high school, went to a good college, never really got in trouble, came into the league and had a really, really quick, kind of climb to the top. And, he's all over the place. He's on YouTube, he's on TikTok, he's on, Twitter, for being an excellent basketball player. And I just, you hear it a lot, like you kind of, you are a reflection of the people around you, and I don't think he's got a good camp behind him. I think that there's definitely some changes in his life that he needs to make, and he needs to push some of those bad influences away. And if there are no bad influences, but I mean, he's got to work on himself too. I mean, you got to be smarter than that, man. I mean, you're in the NBA, you're a superstar in the NBA, you can't be doing that. And I mean, nobody like wants to see that. Like it's horrible to see because, and imagine if worse comes to worse and something happens to him or something happens to someone around him or someone he's involved with. Like it's not good. Nobody wants that. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to like firearms or violence or what if he goes and messes with the wrong guy at another mall and it goes horrible? You know what I mean? Like nobody wants that. We don't want that. So I hope he can get it together. It's just been one thing after another, man. It's been crazy to see.
Yeah, guys, like, hear me out here, okay? we talked about the Russell Wilson situation. Remember this back last year where he's just acting weird. He's doing the high knees on the plane and all that stuff. And we kind of talked about like Russell Wilson thinking that's what an NFL quarterback should do.
Uh-huh.
Okay, John Morant, I feel like this is kind of like an act almost that he's putting on as
Mm,
like someone from like the trenches or the projects or whatever it is. You know what I
right.
mean? And he's like putting on this whole persona because that's how he thinks he's supposed to act. But like, how many guys from in the NBA are like really from that situation? You know what I mean? Damian Lillard, like a horrible situation he came from with
Derrick
the
Rose.
NFL with like yeah Marshawn Lynch on the NFL side like dudes like this don't have to
Hmm.
act that way anymore. They live that's behind them. Like they're moved on to the next stage of their life. I feel like John Morant's like trying to put on this persona of like being from the hood and being from the trenches and like keeping it real type of thing. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
just like gone way too far to the point where now he's facing legal ramifications, suspensions from the NBA. When all along, like he went to a private high school, like he had both his parents, and like not to say that he didn't have any hard times, but like, is
Right.
this kind of an act to try to be something he's not? It's what kind of seems like to me.
Yeah, I think the whole Grizzlies team in general, like see all these clips come out of whoever it is, and like they just have that kind of like mentality about them, like clips will come out and the NBA will tweet and it'll say like Dylan Brooks just wants all the smoke or whatever it is, like the pushing and the shoving. And so like I think that like almost fuels it in a way of like, oh yeah, we're the Memphis Grizzlies, you're not gonna fuck with us kind of thing. And so like, and that all plays a part into it of the mental and everything. And then like TC was saying, you're blowing up all over TikTok, and and 11-year-old kids are making TikTok mashups of like them fighting and all that stuff. And like, which it's like so crazy that like that alternates to that when hockey like fighting's actually allowed, and like it's one of the most respected sports in the world. And
Yeah.
so like yeah, I think it's just a lot of this like false confidence that this is giving them, like of yeah, like it's fulfilling something for them that's never been fulfilled before. I don't know, it's so weird and strange, just no matter what way you slice it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like it, man. It's horrible, and it's only going to lead to horrible things. And it's like, at first when it's like the stuff about the 17-year-old and the punches and the gun in the park kind of thing, I was like, well, I mean, who knows, like, um, who knows, like if there's actually any merit to that or if that was the whole truth. And I'm sure it'll come out. And then literally like 2 days after, man, the stuff about like having a gun in the club and having like a gun like with him, like possibly on a team plane comes out, and it's like, man, like I mean, if one of them's true, it's like you kind of got to believe that both of them are true. And this dude's just really off his rocker. Or, I mean, I think you're right, TC. I think it's like a persona kind of thing, and they're just kind of known for like being a certain way. But I mean, you can be a gritty basketball player without having a gun for sure. So I mean, that's my opinion. I don't
Also,
know,
yeah,
Yeah,
you
man.
can have a gun, it's fine, just leave it at home.
For real, yeah.
uh, and not to get anyone in trouble here, but did anyone see the picture from that gentleman's club that also came out of him in the back room with all the money on the floor? Um,
No.
uh, like I say, I'm gonna send it to you guys because there is some raunchy things going on. But dude, so much money in that
And like
back room, just like
McDonald's and just like all kinds of weird shit, dude. Like it was so
yeah, and the
weird.
McDonald's. But dude, like more money than I've ever seen in my whole
Yeah,
life,
it
and
was a
it's
lot
just
of
like
cash laid out.
on the floor, on the couches, like dude, it was ridiculous. Like
Yeah, and then you got fucking dumb fucks in the replies who are like, "Oh, well, why would the club owner ever release this? Like, it's bad PR." I'm just like, no, dude brought a gun into his club, like that provides a risk for everyone who works there, everyone around, and like, and then he posted on his Instagram. Like, did he not see what happened to? Gosh, the rapper, I can't remember his name. Happened in L.A. at the Chicken and Waffles place.
Oh yeah.
The yeah, but like
yeah,
I can't.
you
Do you know his name,
never
TC?
no, but you never post where you are when you're at that place.
Yeah, exactly. Like homie's girlfriend posted they were at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, and literally like rival gang members rolled up and literally shot him dead on the spot, like in front of the entire restaurant. And so, like, if John Morant's going to pose with a gun at a club, like, and he's one of the most high-profile celebrities in the NBA, like, I don't know, you're just, asking for bad situations to come out of that.
Yeah,
So
it's not good.
Yeah, definitely. The NBA coming down with the 8-game suspension. He's also going to be going to counseling. So hopefully, guys, he is able to turn it around. One hell
Yeah.
of an athlete. You don't want to see it go down this way.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't think it's off. I don't know. I'll say one more thing about it. I don't think it's off to a good start because I saw the statement that got put out, and it's not even a statement from him. You can obviously tell that there's a team of like people like writing that out and all that stuff. I mean, he's not even a spot right now where he can, put out a tweet or anything that is like helpful to his situation. Like he is that far like gone out of his situation right now that he can't even write anything himself or like it's not good. Not off to a good start, in my opinion.
yeah. Well, we're gonna see how the NBA handles that. I'm guessing it's gonna be pretty hefty. I think they're gonna make an example of him, but only time will tell. We will keep the Keep It Down podcast listeners updated if we find out some more information. But boys, you might wonder why we've gathered here today on this fine Wednesday evening. And that is because March Madness begins. I mean, technically, it actually started 2 days ago, but it actually begins tomorrow, boys. The official bracket is out. It is official.
Let's go.
So basically, obviously, we've never done this kind of thing before, but we're just going to kind of flow through it. And just a
We're
quick
gonna get
disclaimer to everyone listening: none of us are huge college basketball fans per se. We don't watch a whole lot during the regular season or anything like that. So, if some of the picks are faded, you can roast us in the comments, but I mean, it won't really be a valid roast. So,
yeah. Don't be roasting us when we're right though, because this is gonna be the perfect bracket. I'm already telling you guys right now.
Definitely. And kind of add to that, we're picking how we want this thing to go down, right?
Yeah.
Chach mentioned it.
Mhm.
None of us are college basketball gurus, so we're not going to be
Mhm.
diving into who's playing zone defense and who's playing man defense. We're just going to tell you guys how it is. You know what I mean? And with that being said, boys, let's hop right into it. We're going to go through the full round of 64 first, and then we'll move on to each next matchup as they come, if that makes sense. So Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four, so on and so forth. All right, our first matchup, boys: Alabama versus Texas A&M Corpus Christi. What are we thinking?
Bama. They've been killing
yeah,
it
this is.
lately.
I mean, the ones that are easy. We just gotta skim through. Texas A&M Corpus Christi is a first four N team, so and Bama is really good. They're rated like top 10 in the. I forget what the index is called, but it's like for total offense and defense, they're rated in the top 10. So I got Bama as well.
Yeah, I think Bama's the number one overall seed. We got Bama moving on. Maryland, West Virginia. What are we thinking?
I'm gonna
I'm
go
feeling
West
like West
Virginia.
Virginia. Yeah, I'm thinking West Virginia too.
Yeah, West Virginia as well.
Hey,
San
Country
Diego
Roads, take me home.
State. Chachu, this other team playing San Diego
Uh,
State.
that's Charleston.
Okay, Charleston. Sorry, mine just says COFC. So,
Okay, so this one's interesting. So
okay.
San Diego State's 27-6. Charleston's 31-3. Obviously,
Yeah,
Charleston probably plays in a worse division, but that feels like a scary matchup for San Diego State potentially.
yeah. I think that 12-5 matchup has quite a few upsets every year. With that being said, I still want to go San Diego State just for the brand.
I
You
agree.
guys in the same boat?
Let's go
Okay.
Tex.
Virginia and Josh, you really playing?
Furman.
Yeah, Furman. It's that
Furman.
13-4 matchup.
Mhm.
I don't really like Virginia, but I don't see him going down to Furman. What
Not
are you
this
thinking?
early. No
No, not
way.
no.
Okay.
No. Sorry, Furman.
Okay. Um, Creighton versus NC State.
Ooh, this is a good matchup.
Yes, I feel like before we get too deep into it, I feel like with like the Creightons of the world and the Doug McDermott and Davidson with Steph Curry is like you got to remember that those guys don't play for these teams anymore. You know
Right.
what I mean? Same with like VCU, having Shaka Smart as your coach. So like they've all moved on. So I kind of want to go NC State here. What are you guys thinking,
I'm fine with an NC State pick.
I'm
Josh?
also fine with it. Creighton is pretty
I'm
high in
scared of
that
it.
index. But
Yeah, I'm scared.
because like I think
You
there's
guys
a
want to go
stat that like
Creighton?
every
Yeah,
team
let's go
since
Creighton.
2003 that's won the national championship has been top 10 in both of the Feldman Index or whatever it is.
Okay, so we're going Creighton.
I agree.
Um, boys, we got Baylor and UC Santa Barbara.
Mm.
Ooh.
Are they the
I
banana
feel like
slugs?
I feel like since this is the bracket how we want it to go, it's got to be Santa Barbara, right?
Yeah,
Let's
gotta
go,
be.
baby.
The boys are
Hey, one
pulling
of the
through for
best
sure.
mascots out there and close to home.
The boys.
Gotta rock the banana slugs. Missouri, Utah State. What are we thinking?
I got Mizzou.
Yeah, I got Mizzou as well.
Okay, we're going Mizzou. Arizona's got Princeton.
That's a tall task for Arizona, but I think they get it done.
Yeah, I think Arizona's pretty good this year. Let's go
Bear
Arizona.
down.
Although I hear that Princeton team is pretty smart. All right, we got Purdue in the Chotch. Who's the 16th seed in the East?
It's Texas Southern slash FDU. So I don't know if that's two teams combined to make one team or
So we're gonna
it's pack
knock
a
that
punch.
Hey,
down.
yeah, no, yeah. So they probably still have to play tonight. Um, I will say this though: out of the four number one seeds, Purdue is the one that I like the least. They just have this massive, like 7 foot something center, and he just really dominates the ball quite a bit, kind of a Joker style. Um, with that being said, I feel like you have to go Purdue just because who are they playing?
Yeah, the other team is F. Dickinson. It's either Texas Southern, who's 14-20, which I don't know how they're in the bracket even, and F. Dickinson's 19-15. We're gonna go Purdue, boys.
Let's go Purdue. We got Memphis and Florida Atlantic.
Ooh, I'm kind of messing with the FAU boys.
You like an FAU?
31-3.
Is Penny Hardaway the coach of Memphis though?
Yeah, he
Yes.
is.
Ah,
See, I mean, he has the plot armor, so I don't know.
definitely. If you guys want to go FAU, let's go FAU.
What do you
Shimon,
think,
you're the
man?
tiebreaker.
Depression.
Hmm. No, this is this is gonna be the game too, and it's gonna be all my fault. It's gonna be all my fault. FAU.
All right, we're going FAU.
We're doing
We
Scottish,
got
bro.
Duke and Oral Roberts.
This one, a lot of people are picking as an upset.
Yeah, I seen
Um,
that as well.
but I don't know, man. Like, can it brand like Duke? Will this happen to Duke?
Yeah, I feel like us being kind of casual fans, I feel like you kind of have to go with the blue blood here, right? I just
Yeah,
don't
you
know
gotta.
enough about
Yeah,
Oral
you
Roberts to
gotta
know
take the
why
blue
they would
chips.
upset Duke. Um, Tennessee versus the raging Cajun boys.
Hey, go
See, I almost
Vols,
thought that was
baby.
LSU for a slip, but it's obviously
Go
not.
Tennessee Vols.
Chach, you got the Vols as well.
Yeah, we can take the balls.
Okay. We got Kentucky, got Providence. Boys, I kind of want to go Providence here.
Yeah,
One
I
of
got
Kentucky
those
doesn't
like
seem like it.
weird, like I think they're a Big East school, usually pretty tough.
Mm.
Kentucky on a down year, out of all the blue bloods, I would think maybe Kentucky would be the one that has the hardest matchup in this first round. They're all not going to make it out of the first round, so maybe go Providence here. What are you thinking?
I like that.
Keep it down
Okay.
exclusive. Providence over Kentucky. You heard it here first.
Ooh, okay. So we got Kansas State and Montana State.
Man,
Um, Initial thoughts off rip is Kansas State's probably the better team, but um, those Midwest teams can be an issue sometimes. South Dakota State's made a run a couple of times.
yeah, they've
They
got those
usually have like,
corn-fed boys.
yeah, they usually got big boys and they're older. Not trying to sway you guys at all, but what are you thinking?
I mean, you want to take Kansas State, but the Montana State upset is very palatable.
Yeah, yeah. Not a huge K State guy. I kind of want to go Montana State as well.
I love that. I love that pick.
Yeah.
All right, boys, I'm gonna go ahead and tee this one up for you. Michigan State and USC.
Michigan
Do we
State
even need to
by a
talk about this one?
million.
Nothing to be said there. Who's
Get
Marquette
slighted.
playing in that last
Vermont.
slot there? Yeah, that's Vermont there.
I think that's an easy
Marquette,
GG's.
yeah,
We
Marquette.
go Marquette.
Mar-
Yeah.
yeah, they're a 2 seed this year, guys. I think they're another one of those Big East schools. Okay, moving on to the other side of the bracket. We're halfway through the first
Through
round,
the
boys.
Midwest we go.
Yeah, so we got UCLA. Chach, who they got that 15 spot there?
Okay, shoot, you're at the bottom of my bracket, but it's all good, all good. We regain. It's UCLA and the University of North Carolina, Asheville.
Nope,
How
that's
did I
not the
not
one.
know that one?
Yeah, I watched the
Yeah,
UCLA Oregon game, and UCLA has a basketball team, man. Let me tell you.
yeah. That point guard is still there. What's his name? Tiger Campbell, the dude
Yeah,
with the long hair.
and then they
It
have the
seems
other
like
dude who
he's
won
been there
like
for like
Player of
7
the Year.
years.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Hey, shout out those COVID seasons, baby. Let's go.
yeah, man. We're going UCLA there, boys. I know both of these teams: Northwestern and Boise State.
Ooh, this is gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah, I feel like they're kind of similar schools. Um, Obviously not similar schools. Boise State has the Smurf turf and all that. But as far as like what I think of when I think of their basketball program,
Hey, the Smurf
um,
turf.
yeah, um,
Hey, shout out Boise. I'm going Boise.
So we're
yeah,
going with
I
the
want to
maybe 12 expansion boys.
go in Boise as well. Gonzaga's got what is that Grand Canyon University, Chach?
Hey, shout out GCU, baby.
GCU.
I
Honestly, I'm
hate
not a huge
Gonzaga so
Gonzaga
much.
guy.
Hey, great
Not a big
commercials.
Gonzaga guy. So you know what? You want to lock it in, Chach, for the Grand
Yep,
Canyon
we're
University
sliding
upset?
them. Get
All
slighted.
right. All right. Looks like TCU either has Arizona State or Nevada in the first round.
I'm liking TCU either way, I think.
Hey,
Yeah, I think I'm liking TCU as well.
as long as they don't run into Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, if they're playing Georgia, it's a different story. Um, Boys, we got UConn, the perennial powerhouse, versus the
UConn's
Iona
making.
team. Now, listen, before you get too deep into it, Rick Pitino is the coach for Iona, the longtime Louisville coach. So they might have something going there. Kind of interesting little
Mm,
storyline. But
that's a trump
UConn is
card.
that perennial powerhouse. So what are we thinking?
Yeah, UConn's top 5 in both categories in the Feldman Index.
Okay.
And yeah, like DC said, Iona, iconic coach. They could like Gus Malzahn their way through this kind of thing, you know?
They got some. They got some grit to them, and we like that here on the Keep It Down podcast.
We do. Think
You
we
going
create.
Iona just for the grit, boys?
Ooh. Yeah,
Wait,
no, yeah. I don't
wait,
know.
are
Just
we
my
picking
rating.
Iona because they're gritty? Yeah, Iona. Let's go. Let's do
They
it.
literally just hit the gritty. Okay. Boys, like I said, Shaka Smart is not at VCU anymore.
Yeah,
Okay.
changes
They got
things.
St. Mary's in the first round. Who we thinking?
Ooh. Let's go St. Mary's, for the spiritual realm.
For the spiritual round. I do like that pick. I do like that pick. Okay, boys, we got Arkansas's got Illinois in the first round. That's that 8-9 matchup. Two of the closer teams.
I like Arkansas right out of the gate. I like Arkansas.
Okay, Arkansas.
Is it? Oh, that's never mind. That's Syracuse. I was about to say, don't they have that coach son thing going on? But yeah, no, it's Syracuse. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah. We got Kentucky has Howard, boys. Kentucky, the defending national champs, a 1 seed again. But Howard, man, you never know.
Kentucky.
Yeah, it's Kansas, but
Did I say Kentucky? I meant Kansas.
and then Schmack doubled you down, baby.
Okay. Boys, we're back to the other side of the bracket, and it's gonna go pretty quick from here. Purdue and Florida Atlantic.
Wait. Are we missing a section?
We're in the East.
Did we miss the Midwest? I don't think we did the Midwest yet.
Sorry. I did miss the Midwest. Okay,
All right, all
Doesn't
right, all
matter.
right,
boys,
we're back.
we're starting at the top of the Midwest here. We got Texas and Colgate.
Yep. Um, I mean, hook 'em
Sorry.
horns, right? Like, no way
I
we
mean,
could
you
pick
gotta go.
toothpaste. You don't lose to food.
Yeah, you gotta go Texas here. Penn State versus the real Texas A&M.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Boys, I'm kind of liking Penn State here just for the Saquon Barkley factor.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it.
You know what I'm saying?
Locking that in.
Xavier versus Kennesaw State.
I freaking hate how the people who go to Xavier say, "Oh, you're saying your name wrong." I
What do they
hate
say
that.
it is?
No, well, like some people say Xavier, and they're like, "Oh, it's Xavier." I'm like, "Okay, I hate you."
Oh,
So I
Uh,
kind of want to slide them.
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, we are. Right on.
You want to Kennesaw State them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we hate Xavier around here.
Yeah. Shout out to any of our listeners who are going there right now. You're wrong and you're going to lose.
Get wrecked.
Get wrecked.
We got Iowa State and Pitt. What are we thinking?
Now, is this the Cyclones or the other one?
This is Cyclones.
Yeah, this is like close.
Cool. Let's go with Pitt.
Dang.
I like it. Kenny Pickett. Indiana and Kent State.
Gotta go Indiana, right?
Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana again with the blue blood kind of thing. Ooh, boys, Miami and Drake. And now I was watching Get Up this morning, and they're saying Drake is a really hot pick here for that 12-5 matchup. You guys want to roll with it, or are you guys going Miami?
I mean, personally, I would never leave a program that I was winning with to go to Miami and lose to Middle Tennessee. So, and Drake the GOAT.
Jersey
Shout out
Drake,
Cristobal.
baby. All right, we got Iowa and Auburn.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, again, those Iowa schools, not a huge fan. I'd like to go Auburn here. But again, what's the group consensus?
Yeah, I mean, Iowa's just gonna have a dude who's built like a damn Sonic Slurpee straw, and then like he's just gonna just facilitate the whole game. So
Yeah.
we're gonna take Auburn. They got some grit, some flash.
Love it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then Houston's got the 16 seed. Chach, who is that?
Northern Kentucky, it looks like.
Northern Kentucky, a hot pick.
We're going
Um,
I
Houston.
mean, yeah, no, we're taking Houston. Houston's a
Yeah,
very good basketball team.
you gotta get Houston. Okay, boys. Sorry for the mix-up there on what
No,
section
we're
we're
back
on. We're
now.
moving on
We're back.
to
We're
the
back.
round of 32 now, and we're starting in
So
the
on the
South
East.
here, Chach.
Okay,
starting in
yeah,
the
yeah.
South.
What's up?
Where we started, we got Alabama, West Virginia.
Bama.
Yep.
All right,
Roll
we're
Tide.
rolling. Oh, we're
Nick
rolling
Saban.
Tide.
Difference maker.
Okay. San Diego State has got Virginia.
I like San Diego State in that one.
Yeah, I think SDSU catches some fire as well.
Yep, we're going Aztecs. Boys, Creighton and UC Santa Barbara.
Do we do it to them?
Dare
Do
we?
they get banana
I mean,
slugged?
They're getting banana slugged. Big time.
okay, but the slugs are in. Missouri and Arizona. Gosh, it's tough because Arizona's a hated rival, but they're good at basketball, and
It's
I
true.
know that.
Mm-hmm.
And Mizzou's like
Um,
average at everything. So
yeah,
Yeah.
super mid. We're going
Yeah.
Arizona.
Zona.
yeah, I think we're on Zona here. Bear
Okay.
down.
Chach, we're moving on to the East. Okay.
Yep.
Purdue's got Florida Atlantic.
We love the Florida Atlantic boys, but we're just gonna take it here.
Purdue as well. Ooh, Duke and Tennessee.
Ooh, that's a nice
Oh,
color
That's a
scheme too.
goodie. That is going to be
Oh, yeah.
aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Um, do you guys
I
hate
think
Duke, or where you guys at with
I
Duke?
think I mean Duke is whatever personally, but I'm liking Tennessee here.
They're
My
basketball.
original.
Shmang, you rolling Tennessee too?
Hey, go Vols, baby. Always,
I know you rode
always.
there. I know you rode that bandwagon all football season.
I did.
Um,
Forget reason too.
Providence and Montana State.
Providence.
Yep.
Okay, Providence, the more known basketball team. What about Michigan State and Marquette, boys? This is where it gets interesting. Michigan State, that blue blood. Marquette, a number 2 seed this year, and also usually pretty good at this at March Madness
With
here.
this basketball deal.
I like Marquette here.
Yeah, they just seem more goated this year, you know.
Yeah, like Marquette as well. Boise State, UCLA.
UCLA.
We got to bear down with the Bruins, right?
Um, TCU and Grand Canyon University, boys. Dare we do it, Grand Canyon?
There's no
Moving on
way.
again?
We go for the UCSB Grand Canyon final. We give it to
No,
me.
no.
Dude.
GCU is going to
Grand
be
Canyon
online
sucks, man.
only after this game, dude.
All right. So you think TCU in the semifinals is going to show up, not TCU in the final?
That's the one.
Okay.
Yes.
We're rolling, TCU. Okay, St. Mary's and Iona.
Who's the coach Iona? Was that Patino?
Rick Pitino.
Yep.
Oh, yep.
They're going to hit the Gwitty.
They're gonna
Yeah, I
hit the
think
gritty
that
in the
actually is like
scripture.
another semi-winnable game for them.
Yeah.
Kansas, not Kentucky. Kansas at Arkansas.
Ooh, the Kansas Arkansas deal.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
Oh,
Wow.
dang.
How would you actually say it? Boys, I'm a little bit biased. I want to go Kansas again here, but I picked them last
Kansas.
year to win it all, and they did, so I got too much faith in them. I already know that off rip. You know what I
It's
mean?
Kansas.
I definitely want to go Kansas, though.
Yeah, I think we're going Kansas here.
Underrated uniforms, too.
Yeah, the
Okay.
blue.
We got Penn State and Texas. I feel like we got to go hook 'em horns here. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah, because we don't
Okay.
like cheaters on this.
Shout out, Dad.
Now, are we letting Pitt get Kennesaw Stated, or what are we doing there?
Yeah, for sure getting Kennesaw State. For sure.
Yeah, that's a 14-11 matchup. Might be good for them. We got the
Bummer.
boy, Drizzy Drake, taking on Indiana. What are we thinking?
Give me the Hoosiers.
I like the Hoosiers too.
Drake just had to do it for us in the first round, and they're an expendable asset at this point.
The only thing that I don't love about Indiana is they wear those pants still, with the red and white stripes, like for their
Yeah.
warm-ups.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
no, you
That
all
is
got
weird.
money,
Really?
especially in the basketball program.
Okay, quick side note while we're on the topic. Why does every Midwest school feel like that's the thing to do?
Iowa
single
does
one.
it. Iowa State does
Iowa
it.
State, Michigan State, Wisconsin, like literally all of them. So can one of you claim that and the rest of you figure it out?
I think they
Wisconsin's got
should.
to jump around. It's great. Schwank, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say I think it should be banned from happening until one of them wins the Natty.
Ooh.
All right, boys. We got the last game here in the round of 32. We got Houston and Auburn.
Ooh, this could be a gritty one.
Yeah, I like this matchup as well. Houston is a number 1 seed, but I don't think they play in the greatest conference. I don't even know what conference they play in. I think they play in like the same conference as Memphis, and that might be like the American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know they don't have the greatest strength of schedule, so I don't love them as a 1 seed either. But I know that they're good, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, 3 losses is typical, no matter what you cut it. Especially with basketball, they just play a lot of volume.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, personally, I like the Houston pick, but I wouldn't be mad with Auburn either.
Yeah, I like the Houston pick as well. All right, boys, we're getting into the nitty gritty here. This is the Sweet 16.
Let's go.
Alabama and San Diego State.
Oh no!
Is the Tide gonna roll? Stick close to home. What are we thinking?
I'm personally picking the Tide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think tired are just too good. All right, boys, we've come this far. UC Santa Barbara's got Arizona. What are we thinking, boys? We gonna send Santa Barbara the Banana Slugs to the Elite Eight?
We
We
are.
We
can't,
feeling
right?
bold?
No,
Are
we're going
we?
to. We're going to.
Oh my gosh.
All right, lock the Banana Slugs into the Elite Eight, boys.
So
Punching those tickets.
All right, we got Purdue and Tennessee. Right off rip, I said it. I don't love Purdue as that one seed. I wouldn't be surprised if they got knocked off by either Duke or Tennessee. Um, you guys liking Tennessee here as well?
Go Vols,
yeah, I'm
baby.
liking the Vols pick.
Now we got Providence and Marquette, and I think Providence beat Marquette earlier in the year, but overall Marquette's the better team. What are we thinking?
Ooh.
I like Marquette here.
Yeah, I think Marquette's coming out angry.
So angry.
Marquette is the big dog for a change. We got TCU and UCLA.
Ooh.
It's a banger matchup.
I mean, I'm leaning towards UCLA. I think we're keeping it in conference here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep, I think UCLA is the better basketball team as well. Kansas, Iona. We talk about Rick
Ooh.
Pitino a lot. Is this where it ends, or is he marching on?
I think this is where it ends. I think they
I
just get
think,
out talented.
yeah,
Yeah,
I like Kansas
and,
here.
and I think that Kansas UCLA matchup would be a banger to
Ooh.
watch. So just for that, gotta move them on. Is Texas gonna get Kennesaw Stated, boys?
I got Texas.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
got
got
Texas
Texas.
as well.
Welcome, baby.
Houston, Indiana. What are we liking?
Ooh. I'm kind of liking Indiana.
I'm going with the red pants.
All right. We just talked about how much we hated them, and now we're rocking them.
Hey, they're the boys.
Um,
Said it
Houston
before.
just, I mean, we can't deal with frauds around here, okay?
all right, boys. This is where we really have to decide what we're doing here.
Okay.
There's
Um,
no way
we
we can
have
allow this any further.
we have the number one overall seed Alabama Crimson Tide versus
Yeah.
UC Santa Barbara Banana Slugs.
Hey,
I mean, I'm down with whatever. I guess. What are you guys thinking?
We have to
Bama.
take Bama.
I mean, you have to take Bama, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could have said the same for Arizona in the last round, but you know what?
Nah.
We're going for it on this here podcast.
Shout out the Slugs. It's gonna be a great story.
We got the Tennessee Volunteers and Marquette. It's that 2 versus 4 matchup. What are we thinking?
Ooh, I like the Tennessee Bama in the Final Four.
Oh, some
Oh,
That's
SEC.
greasy.
yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah. It's kind of how
That
I
would
pick
be.
sometimes too. Is like matchups I would like to see happen. Um, boys, we have Kansas, not Kentucky, taking on the number 2 seed UCLA Bruins. What are we thinking? Like I said, I'm gonna abstain from my opinion here. I have too much faith in Kansas, so I want to get you guys' objective opinion.
I also kind of like Kansas here, but
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Kansas here.
Yeah, I wonder how many teams have gone back to back though. Okay, we
they're not.
going up to the top here. We got Indiana versus Texas. What are you thinking, boys?
We got to hook them for the pants, right? Like we've let them go this far, but I mean, at
There's
some
just
point that's
too
gonna.
much on the side of Texas. You got the bad pants out of Indiana,
Mhm.
Big J, and that
Yeah.
right there is enough to sway my opinion. I gotta go Texas.
Yeah. Texas. And you got Bevo. Not even talking about Bevo.
Yeah, do you think he'll be there? Is he
No.
even allowed?
No.
Bevo really that guy though. Final four is set here, boys. I told you after that round of 64 is gonna go quick. Okay, we're already in the final four here. We have that SEC matchup, Alabama versus Tennessee. Who's going to the final? and who's getting sent packing, boys?
Ooh,
It's a 1v4, right?
yeah,
1 versus 4.
this is
Tell
a
you off
tough
rip.
one.
I want to go Bama. I do. But is that just because they're really good at football? You know what
Yes.
I mean?
I'm seeing how the regular season went. Give me a second.
I think they're like, I'll tell you right now. Let me see if I can find their overall. They're 7-4 against the top 25. They're 16-2 in conference. They're 29-5 overall.
Good numbers.
And then that's for Bama. Tennessee is 23-10.
Tennessee took the game in the regular season too.
Tennessee.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
Go
Going
Balls.
Tennessee here then? History repeating itself, or are we rocking Bama?
Trying to see.
I was the tiebreaker last time, so it doesn't have to be me this time.
So it's at Tennessee as well. You know, things get a little rowdy when you get into Knoxville, boys. So
Yeah, these are toughies.
I want to take Bama.
I do too.
Part of me knows I want to take Bama because I think they're the better basketball team, but my heart wants to pick Tennessee.
Let's pick with the heart then. You guys want to go Tennessee?
They always say to listen to your heart. You know what I mean?
All right, boys. On the other side, we got Texas and Kansas. Two absolute blue bloods in the sport.
Mm.
Honestly, you can make an argument either way. Like we talked about, Bevo, Big J, Ricky Williams, Vince Young, you know. But Kansas,
Yeah.
you know,
Their
they're
football team's
coming off of it.
horrible.
They're bad at football, but they're
Not
good
so
at
good.
basketball. This is
They're
what they
bad
do
at
good. Is
basically
this?
everything besides basketball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think that's how I take
So
it, right? This is their only skill.
this is the this is their one job.
What's the
Yeah.
weather like in Kansas today?
Cold.
Probably cold. Okay, boys. We have Tennessee and Kansas in the final matchup. That actually be a banger matchup. Kind of like that. Who's taking home the hardware? Dare we say Kansas for a second year in a row, or is Tennessee going to be cutting down the nets?
I think, when Tennessee doesn't have as much to play for against Alabama, team they've already played, team they've beaten in their own conference, in their own side of the conference, even. I mean, you got to take Kansas here. They've been here before.
Yeah, they might be more ready for the big game.
I'm
Tennessee
putting my vote
might.
towards Kansas. I say that.
I mean, it's hard to pick against Kansas, especially in basketball. It's their one thing.
This is, like I said, this is their one job. All right, boys. And so obviously we have the perfect bracket all set up now. But just in case anyone else also picks this bracket out there, we have to have a
Which
tiebreaker, and that's the
which,
final score.
which they're going to because they're everyone's listening. Everyone's listening to this.
Kansas and Tennessee. Okay.
I
I'm
got
thinking.
Tennessee. Good.
No, go ahead, Shrink. You go first.
Tennessee 69, Kansas 83.
Dude, I was going to say 74-69.
Yeah, I'm thinking 74-69 is also good. Obviously, we have to have 69 in there somewhere.
Right. I mean,
Uh,
It's a given.
and I feel like if you do like a 69-66 game, that's a little bit too low scoring.
no.
A 74-69 finish is like, they're fouling and shooting free throws at the end of the game, and Kansas should
Mm-hmm,
mix a
mm-hmm,
couple. So I
mm-hmm.
think it's realistic. I'm locking it in 74-69, right?
Correct.
Okay, boys, we are locked in.
There it is.
Kansas Jayhawks taking them the hardware again. And for all you listeners out there, just want to let you know that when we win this $1,000,000, we will not be sharing.
Yeah, none of it.
I mean, we're splitting it three even ways, right? Like that's
Yeah,
the
oh
way.
yeah. I mean, amongst
Well,
ourselves.
I mean, we're gonna work that out later.
Just making sure, dude.
Yeah, actually, Schmog and I have a side deal going, Chach. We'll fill you in on it later.
Yeah.
Perfect. Um, I want to talk about Schmack's football team.
Why?
Trying to find it. Who'd they sign, Schmack?
I don't know.
Quarterback, backup, Jacoby Brissett.
Ooh.
What do you think?
I don't like it. I literally just said the last podcast, we don't need to go out and we don't need to sign another backup quarterback. And that's exactly what we did. So
Schmog, do you know what
we're
spot you guys what spot you guys have in the draft?
I don't
I can find it real quick.
That's the thing. You guys are always stuck in the middle, man.
I know
Up
it's
until
horrible.
the last couple of games of the season last year, you guys were like in the playoff push. So you guys definitely aren't top 10.
Yeah.
Probably pretty close to the Steelers.
Yeah,
You
dude, we have
guys signed a
this
team.
the 16th pick, dude.
Yeah, so you got 16, 47, 97, 118, 152, 193, 215, 235.
Yeah, that sucks because the quarterback's not going to be there for you guys at 16.
No.
Not the one
But
I
I
you
mean,
want.
mean,
no way they're gonna sit here and try to roll with Brissett though. Like there's absolutely 0% chance that like
You don't think
that's
so?
no, it's
I mean, he won the
like
Browns a few football games.
okay.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. No, it's a horrible idea. You literally got rid of Carson Wentz to bring in that guy.
Well, I mean, I think Carson Wentz's tag was just too high
I don't care.
for what you're
I mean,
getting.
they're still
3% of
wasting.
probably what sound like a six.
They're just wasting money. It's just a waste of money. You have Heineke currently on the roster. I don't know why we're hiring a veteran backup. Don't like it.
I personally, my team in free agency, I'm loving what we're doing right now. Okay,
Yeah, I
you guys
mean,
pick up. Who else did you pick up, Josh, besides Derek Carr?
Jamal Williams signed him
Did
today.
you?
That's a
mhm,
great piece to add Alvin Kamara.
yeah.
And that's really the big notable ones so far. We re-signed Michael Thomas to a 1 year, pretty much all incentive deal. So I like
Yep.
that. You know, kind of a prove it deal. I like that. We
That's exactly
let
what
like
we talked
good.
about them, like you wanting them to do, which
Yeah.
we said that we thought he would too.
Yeah, I thought so as well. Because apparently he went in big into the recruitment of Derek Carr situation because tampering opened on whatever it was Monday or whatever. So, but I don't know how much of that you can do outside of that. But yeah, and then we saw Jason Kelsey get re-signed. TC, I saw your team had a couple of signings. I don't know if you looked too much into it, but
Yeah, definitely. We brought back Larry Ogunjobi. Um, he's a huge piece on the defensive line. Obviously, went out and got Patrick Peterson. That's kind of interesting because if he's got any tread left on those tires, that's a huge pickup. If he's a
mm,
solid mentor for, hopefully, I hope what our plan is that we're bringing in Joey Porter Jr. and
mm,
I hope so
and
too.
P Square is going to be the mentor for him, kind of bring him along. And then we also got the inside linebacker from Schmog's Commanders, a young cat. I think he's like only 26. I want to say
Hmm.
his last name is Holcomb, or
Yeah,
but anyways,
yeah.
yeah, we're doing some stuff there. All the reports I'm seeing are saying to be patient with the Steelers. That our signings are just starting. Um, see what happens with the draft, guys. There's been rumors that we might be trading around and we're targeting certain people. So I think the draft might be exciting for us Steelers. Um, what about any of the other notable free agents? Aaron
there's one I
Rodgers
want
in
to.
particular, boys.
There's also another one I want to talk about after Aaron Rodgers, but yeah, I mean, just it's very Aaron Rodgers esque. You know, he like so it's like releases that he's signing with the Jets, which is we actually talked about him going to the Jets, but and then he just first thing off the rip just gives a list of the people he wants them to sign, which is like just all washed up Packers players. Like Randall Cobb's like 36, dude. Like you have the
Yeah,
rookie of the year on that offense, man. Like it's just kind of crazy for like that to be the first thing out of your mouth. But I mean that's the difference between him and I guess.
yeah. And I saw an exchange between him and Adam Schefter, I think it was,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
Henry
That's great.
Rogers is basically saying it was just like a wish list, like something he would like to see happen, not necessarily like a demand list, like it's being framed as.
Sure.
But I think it's really interesting, guys, because the Jets are looking pretty nice with Aaron Rodgers. Uh, Obviously, like Chach mentioned, you got the offensive rookie of the year with Garrett Wilson playing over there. Uh, Brees Hall at running back. Like you guys are looking pretty solid.
You got Sauce Gardner
Uh,
on defense.
yeah, the defense is definitely their strong point, and now with Aaron Rodgers, like you guys might be able to make some noise, especially in that AFC East. It's a little bit weaker now, you know.
Yeah.
I want to talk about an AFC South team, the Dolphins. They traded a pack of Ritz crackers for Jalen Ramsey, and which is when I saw that come across the timeline, I was like, they traded what for Jalen Ramsey? Which I don't know if the Rams just don't want to deal with his salary anymore. That's kind of what it seemed like, but
Yeah.
I mean, like a third string tight end and like a fifth round pick or something for probably the top one of the top three cornerbacks in the league. I would
Yeah, that's
argue.
crazy. I mean, it had
I
to have been
mean,
a salary issue, man. I mean, it had to have been.
yeah, I think he also just maybe wanted out of LA. I don't know, but
Yeah,
um,
definitely. And just wanted to give a quick side note on the Jalen Ramsey news, boys. A third round pick and a tight end that I haven't really heard too much about for Jalen Ramsey. Like Josh said, that's a box of crackers, man. The
Yeah.
Steelers got a second round pick for Chase Claypool from the Bears. Highway robbery, man. Just nuts we were able
honestly,
to pull that one off.
and then this isn't a signing, but the Cowboys released today that Zeke is not going to be returning to the team. So it could be
End of an
trade, could be
era.
free agency. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think that's the right move for the Cowboys and Zeke. Probably, I think his role just kept getting smaller and smaller. When you get a versatile back like Pollard in there, like the thing is these running backs aren't hard to find in the draft who can be good. It's the Derrick Henrys, the Brees Halls, the Christian McCaffreys that are the ones that you have to keep around. The Tony Pollards, even. I mean, he's like this the pass catching and all that stuff just like makes them in a league of their own. So
Right. Yeah. I wasn't surprised to hear that one.
yeah, we saw
Um,
Jason Kelsey come back.
Great for him.
I'm just
what
kind of
about what about Baker Mayfield going to the Bucks?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I understand the Bucks need someone. But I don't. I mean,
I think it's a
uh,
great spot for Baker.
you think?
mm-hmm.
I think it's
I
a
mean, like
great spot for Baker. I don't
you
love
got a
it for
lot.
the Bucks.
You got a lot of other young guys on the team too that I think he can kind of relate with.
It's not a bad spot. They have a really good defense, but I mean, just with their core, it's easy with Tom Brady at the helm to make a ship go, But I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough sledding, and I mean, all the other teams in the NFC South are gearing up for something at least. Hopefully, just not be the laughing stock of the NFL next year. But um, they also got Jimmy Garoppolo to the Raiders. They're paying him 34 million guaranteed a season. So that seems like they have some pretty high trust in him.
Why does every team do this with that guy? Why?
Yeah,
I mean,
Is
I don't know.
he? It seems like he's almost the same player that Derek Carr is. You know,
hmm
I would maybe
but
put
like,
Derek Carr even above him.
I would.
yeah, I would say sorry, Jimmy Garoppolo has a much lower ceiling than Derek Carr does.
Like so yet another team is giving him way too much money up front for no reason. I don't know.
Yeah, and then like it just like it's gonna be 2.5 years from now, right before his 3 year deal is done. He's not gonna be playing. He's gonna be making still his $34 million guaranteed a season against your cap, and your fans are gonna be frustrated. You're probably gonna lose Josh Jacobs in the next year or two, and like they just sent Darren Waller off to where is it, Carolina? I think might be faded on that one, but
Wait, who is it? No,
Darren.
it's the Giants, New York,
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Darren Waller
Giants.
is
My fault.
Giants. Yeah.
which that's scary for my division. But
Oh, okay, so Jesse Bates from the Bengals went to the Falcons. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, and then there's this weird thing that came out today that the Eagles and Darius Slay couldn't come to an agreement, but as of 2 hours ago, all of the ESPN reporters are saying that he's likely to stay with the Eagles now. So, not surprised there either. Trying to see if there's any other notables here.
Yeah, Stephon Gilmore going to the Cowboys.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
That was kind of interesting to
kind of a lot happening, man. That's a
to
really
pair up
interesting one,
with
I think.
Diggs, man. That's a pretty stacked cornerback duo there.
Oh, we also have Juju going to the Vikings, which is honestly a really good landing spot for him. Because obviously,
Yeah,
Justin Jefferson's going to take a majority of those first team. He's going to get a majority of those balls. But I mean, if Juju's fine being this role player and catching some footballs here and there, maybe a touchdown every now and again, then I mean that's a great place for him. So
yeah, Church. I think Juju going to the Pats.
really,
Yeah,
am I completely faded right now?
yeah. I think Juju is going to old Bill Belichick land. That's what he's posting on his
Yep.
socials today.
Oh yeah, I'm so faded. My apologies, boys.
What's up, everybody? Hey, happens to the best of us, man.
Hey, so I guess he does want to be a number one receiver because they don't have one of those. So
Looks like he's the number one in New England.
moving up the depth chart, baby.
Yeah, I
Dang.
think they even got rid of Jacoby Myers as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so that's all I'm seeing for now, boys. All the the major vibes from the free agency.
Yeah, no updates on Lamar Jackson yet. No updates on Derrick Henry yet.
That thing is just so weird.
Yeah, it's like at
Like,
this point, I'm wondering if like all the owners got together and they were like, we can't do this guaranteed money deal, right? Like we have to like
Yeah,
make an example out of this, right? Like before
yeah,
this guaranteed money gets too out of hand. That's like
hmm
why no teams are offering it or trying to go get him right now.
right.
Like it's
Yeah,
the weirdest thing. Like you would think like a team that needs a quarterback and needed one for years. Talking about, I know the Jets went after Aaron Rodgers, but a team like the Jets or the Falcons or all these teams that have been looking for that guy, like here's an MVP caliber player, and no one's
yeah,
going after him. It's kind of strange.
yeah. I think it's really. I mean, Washington included on that list, man. I mean, we've needed a guy for a long time, and I mean, we can afford him. So I don't know why we're not throwing, you know, money at him. But
yeah, like I mean, the difference is like Lamar wants this giant guaranteed contract. Patrick Mahomes wins his second Super Bowl in the last 4 years and takes a pay cut. Like, I think that's just the difference of like someone doing what it takes to win versus someone doing what's best for them, which is like not to say that people shouldn't do what's best for them, but I mean, at what point this is your career, buddy? Like this is your one shot. You don't get very many chances. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, it's kind of interesting that TC mentioned, it's kind of the owners getting together and being like, hey, if we give him this deal, like, what is Josh Allen's guaranteed contract going to look like? What's
right.
Mahomes' guaranteed contract going to look like?
Yeah,
And yeah, it's just the whole thing's weird, and I don't think we're going to see anything happen on this for a while.
yeah. Yes, sir.
Yelp. Last thing, Conor McGregor said if he beats Michael Chandler at the end of The Ultimate Fighter, he's looking for a title shot. What do we think, boys? Do you think if C-Mac beats Michael Chandler, is he
Mm-hmm.
ready to get back in there with another Dagestani wrestler?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough because McGregor, John Jones, guys of that caliber, it seems like whenever they make their like big comeback, it's always against the number one guy or the champ or whatever it is. So it's kind of nice to see him not a warm up fight because I know Michael Chandler is a good opponent, but
Yeah.
just not the top guy in the division right now. Like let him maybe get his feet wet a little bit. I would like to see him fight for the title again. It seems maybe a
Yeah.
little bit early to be your second fight out of the gate, but I mean, it all just depends on what his performance looks like against Michael Chandler, and then
Yeah.
go from there. You know.
Yeah. I think it's good that he's got it. I don't want to call it a tune-up fight because I mean Michael Chandler's a freaking tough dude, but it's good that I think he's going in a little bit lower than a title fight, just because I mean who knows what kind of shape he's in. I know he's put on a lot of like weight and a lot of muscle recently, so it'll be like interesting to see how like that moves around with his kind of fighting style. So I think it's good that he's got something to dip his toes into before trying to dive headfirst like, in again. So
Yeah, I mean, like you take all the unknowns out of it. You know that Islam Makhachev is a good wrestler. Like that's
hmm
bare minimum. So it really
yeah,
just depends how much he's been working on that. We obviously saw him struggle against Khabib, but also, I mean, he knocked Eddie Alvarez and Chad Mendez early in his career out flat, and those are both higher caliber wrestlers, I'd say.
right,
And so, we'll see. I don't know. I feel like his last couple of fights, even the Poirier fights, he was trying to box more than fight. You know,
yeah,
he was always kind of like he had weird stances and stuff like that, which he still did to some degree, but it seemed like he just wanted to simply just knock him out. And like he was, when he did the Aldo and all those dudes, like he wanted to win the fight, and whatever it
right,
took was what he was going to do. So I
yeah,
kind of like to see him get a little more back to that. But
yeah,
Yeah, I will always be a Conor McGregor fan, man. Like
same,
yeah,
dude.
just his meteoric rise and the double champ and all that stuff. Like I know a lot of he rubs people wrong. I get that with all this shit talking and all that stuff. But like he really changed the game for UFC fighters. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Took the sport to a completely different level.
right,
Um, than even Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz did. Like he was
yeah,
the superstar of all superstars. So like I'll always be rocking with Condog.
yeah. He's kind of like John Jones in that way, man. The UFC is just better with like guys like them in it. Like you need those guys, you need those personalities, you need those stories, like you need that history, and I think it's really important. And I mean, we didn't talk about it, but I mean, John Jones, dude, coming back and looking the way he did and getting the title back. I mean, it's great for the sport, man, and it's only going to drive like more eyes to it. So it's good. It's good to see where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, obviously anything with Conor McGregor's name on it's going to go nuclear. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, the pay per view and all that stuff, and then you mentioned the Khabib stuff and all that. With if he goes on to fight Islam after Michael Chandler, assuming he beats him, of course. But yeah, I mean, that's just Dana White's probably just drooling over his at his desk right now, just thinking about that, man. Like that's, I mean,
yeah,
it's just how it is. He's the face of the UFC for, I mean, probably 2014 to 2017 at least.
yeah,
So,
Definitely.
yeah.
boys, is there anything else we want to touch on before we go away for the week?
Mm.
Boys, when I was listening to the radio this morning, in honor of March Madness, they were talking about March Fatness. And
Mm.
basically, all the callers calling in were just talking about times when they just absolutely went in on some food. I want to know if anything came to mind for you guys where you just absolutely went ham and ate way too much. What are you thinking?
A lot of things like instantly come to my mind, or like after like hunting and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because like
Mm.
you're in the
Yeah,
woods eating mountain house, and then you get home and you're just like, oh my gosh, I've never felt this freedom before. So like, I think there's probably a hunting excursion, or maybe like I don't know, maybe a summer lift or something for football in high school.
yeah,
You and the boys go to wherever it may be.
Dude, I think
I
for
can't think of
me,
anything specifically, but
one that jumps out at me is when we went and played Sunnyside when I was a senior, and we went and played them, and like something happened with my food, and like I didn't like get to eat when I normally would eat like before that game. So after the game, I'm just starving, dude. I don't care what we eat. So mom and dad go through like McDonald's, and dude, I ate like a large fry and two McRibs. And dude, my guts were hurting so bad, dude. Like we get like an hour because it was. I mean, in Fresno, then we're driving back to Tashby. Dude, we're like 45 minutes, an hour into the drive, and my stomach is just churning, and it was so horrible. I felt so disgusting.
Dude, you know what was just made me think of though was remember when we got all the McNuggets from McDonald's? And we
oh
just dumped them
shit.
all out on a platter.
With
Chachi,
all
tell
the
the story from
sauces.
your perspective.
Yeah, go ahead,
Okay,
Chuck.
so we go to McDonald's, right? Classic McDonald's. So we go there. I think we ordered 100 nuggets, and I want to say it was like $40 for 100 nuggets,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
I mean theoretically is enough to feed 10 people. But anyways, so we're eating through the pile of nuggets, and then I spot this nugget, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, that's not correct. And I look at it and I pick it up, and this nugget, dead ass, still has a feather on it that was fried into the nugget, dude. So
And
then,
so what'd you do with the nugget?
we were all talking, vibing, and then while everyone was talking, I just ate the nugget. Nothing to it.
Dude, so, like looking back on it, we probably could have got those nuggets for free just because of that one
Yeah,
feather
Yeah.
being in
all of
there,
them.
if not more money than that. That was
Yeah.
I was thinking kind of on the same lines, you know, getting done with hunting, but this particular time, I just went for like a long hike, and I get back. I'm still at the apartment, 420 North Mill Street, baby. Shouts out.
Mm.
And Harper and I go get taco sandwich. So I take down my carne asada burrito, and then she's got
Uh,
like half of hers left over. I just polished that thing right off as well.
yeah.
Damn.
Harper like goes down to Bakersfield or something, so I'm left to my own devices all day. It's just one of those situations where you just can't get full. So I
Yeah.
think in the afternoon I ate the carne asada burrito and a half, plus two more chimichangas, a Snickers bar, and I want to say I topped it all off with ice cream before she even got home, bro. And she was
Dang.
like, "Oh, you want to go get dinner, or like, what do you want to do for dinner?" And I was like, "Ah, I'm not really hungry actually." It was like finally after the ice cream, I was satisfied, but at that time it was like 4 p.m. You know?
Oh
So I,
yeah.
I I put in work when you were gone. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Another one that comes to mind, Skylar Stevens and I one time, dude, we went to um, Midori Sushi one day for lunch. Skylar was like talking to this girl that he met, and she worked used to work at Midori Sushi here in Tehachapi. And so we go there for lunch, and Skylar's like just trying to impress her because that's how he is. And we order like an obscene amount of sushi for some odd reason. And we're sitting there eating, and I just remember, dude, like it was yesterday. Like he looks at me, and like there's still a bunch of sushi left, and like on his side of the plate, and he's like, "Hey man, listen, like I need your help. Like I can't just leave all this food on the plate." And so, dude, I must have seriously eaten like 7 or 8 rolls worth of sushi, and I felt ill after, dude. But like he's like trying to impress her, and like I'm like trying to be a good friend, and like we're not trying to leave a bunch of food on the plate. And dude, it was so horrible. I mean, I almost like threw up multiple times because like sushi after a while, man, the consistency starts getting to you, and like I would like put a piece of sushi in my mouth and just instantly my body's like trying to tell me no, and just
Dude, that just spurred another one is sushi that I was just thinking about. Remember
I
in
have one too.
Bakersfield, Schmag? We went to that place on it was on like 18th or 19th in Bakersfield. It
we
was me,
tried
you,
it.
and Hannah, and Grant was there, I think, too. Or
Yeah,
maybe she was
yeah.
pregnant with Grant. And so, anyways, we sit down, we're like ordering. It's like an all you can eat kind of deal. Or
Mhm.
maybe it wasn't all you can eat. It was like they were discounted if you ordered like
It
over a certain
was.
amount or whatever.
It was all you can
And
eat.
so we ordered like 24 rolls or something like that. And they like, then the guy like, so we order what we want, and the guy's like counting. He's like, okay, this is way too much food for you guys. Like they're really big rolls. And Schmog and I just look at each other and we just start laughing. The guy is just so confused. And so he's like, oh, well, you know, you have to pay extra if there's like sushi left because that's how all you eat sushi is, you
Then
know.
it was a
So
challenge.
yeah, and so we're like, okay. So he brings it out, and it was a lot of sushi. Like it was
I was
probably like a
scared.
full size baking sheet of sushi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, like this is not going to go well. But I
Yeah.
mean, long story short, obviously we polished it off.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what happened, dude. And I knew it was going to happen when he said the words, "No one's ever ordered this much before." And I looked at Chach and I was like, "We're about to eat all this sushi. Like, no matter if it kills us or not, like it's happening." It was miserable though. Another one of those times. We did it though.
Oh yeah,
We did it.
All right. Yeah. So I got a sushi one as well, actually, boys. So like at the time, Harper and I hadn't even really been dating for that long, and so we decided we're gonna go have a little date down in Lancaster. We're gonna do big tuna, you
Yep.
know,
ooh,
all you can eat. And so we go down there, and I'm just hyping it up the whole way. I'm like, dude, like me and my brothers used to save up our recycling money and come down here and just go ham. Like
True.
this is the spot to do it at. And so we get there, and we both get the all you can eat sushi. Um, and Harper, after like 2 rolls, is like tapping out. And I'm like, all right, you just don't understand the concept of all you can eat sushi. Like that's just normal
First,
sushi. You know
first
what I
time.
mean? Yeah.
it's like just stand
Like
back and don't get your fingers dirty.
so, so then me, like being the guy that I am, I'm feeling like even more pressure now to eat a lot of sushi because like I don't want to
You
let
already
the
paid the
brand down.
$45. Yeah, you already
Right.
paid
Oh
the
yeah,
forty
so
five
like
bucks.
yeah, so like now I really gotta like double down and get my money's worth. So I just start going in. I want to say I probably had about 7 rolls as well,
Which is a
and then
lot of food.
dude, it's a lot, and some of them are baked and whatnot, so that's a little
Oh.
bit heavy too. So after sushi, we're gonna go see a movie, dude, and it's one of those theaters with the reclining chairs. And
Oh,
long
nice,
story
nice,
short, I just
nice.
conked out after like 30 minutes of the movie starting, dude, because I was so full. Like, uh, yeah, just done skeezing the movie theater.
Dude, it'll do it to you, man. Sushi has a way of making you feel full so freaking fast. You don't realize it until it's too late. And then, all of a sudden it's all bad from there.
Absolutely, boys. Anything else you're dying to talk about on this fine Wednesday afternoon, evening, maybe?
That's about all I had.
Yeah. I mean, we already gave them the perfect bracket. I mean, I don't know what else the people want from us.
Oh yeah,
Could
speaking
you
of,
want?
I'm not sure if we can exactly or how it works, but if we can, we'll put it in the Instagram post for this podcast. We'll create a little group. I mean, games start tomorrow, so when you're
Mm,
seeing this, you might want to do it like 5 minutes ago. But if you want, you can join our little group if that's a thing anymore. I know it used to be a thing, but I haven't looked too much into it this year. So if it is, we'll link our whatever our little team is or group or whatever it is, so you guys can join up and
yeah.
see how we do and all that good stuff. So yeah, but if we got nothing else, that is effectively going to do it for episode 21 of the Keep It Down podcast, emergency
Yep.
podcast edition.
Mm-hmm.
Edition, boys. Uh, boys, sign off to the people.
Yeah, guys, thanks for sticking with us, man. This is an emergency pod, boys. This one was important. We had to get the bracket done before the game started, obviously, and I think we schemed up a pretty good bracket. So, like Josh said, we'll see if we can get that posted out there. You guys can follow along with us. If not, join the group.
Yeah, everybody keep an eye out for the socials, Instagram, Twitter. We're getting way more heavy. We're trying to be more active and put some more stuff on there. So same with YouTube. Get the word out, like, subscribe, share, do whatever you got to do. Call us an idiot. It all helps. So I'll see you guys next time, episode 22.
Dude, just a quick side tangent on the YouTube Shorts thing. Dude, I watched that Popeye's grit video about 15 times in a row, dude. And I was just walking around the house just dying laughing. And Danae was so angry at me. I thought it was so funny, dude.
It was
And
the
I just
funniest
kept laughing.
thing.
Yeah,
It's a little
so
grimy.
yeah.
We need,
If you
we,
haven't already, go ahead, Sprang.
no, I was just gonna say we need to get a sponsorship from Popeyes going now. So if anyone has a
Honestly.
hookup at Popeyes, you let them know.
Yeah, so everyone, thanks for listening as usual. Be good people out there. Don't do anything crazy. Be nice to everyone. Don't kick over any sandcastles. It's bad karma.
Mm-mm.
Please.